It's already done.
What? Really? You sure?
Trust me, honey. The police commissioner's not going to be a problem for you or anyone else ever again.
Increase the oxygen flow. He's going into shock. We're losing him.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for another episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives. Today is July 15, 2024. Hope you all are doing well. Happy Monday. So today we see a very exciting episode. 9 out of 10 for me, honestly. So let's get into it, right? So we see Kate and Chad right there at the Horton house, and Kate is over there to ask for his assistance with her upcoming project with Abe, right? Because she wants his investment into the project, right? So he's interested, and then she could tell that he was distracted because of everything that happened with Abigail and Abigail's body not being there. So he has so many questions, obviously. So she's like, what happened? So he fills her in on the fact that Abigail's body is gone, and he's wondering if she's still alive or if Clyde took the body. So it's like a lot of questions, and she understands. She says, Abigail found her way back to him at one point. It could be possible again. So then they started talking about something else until Jack comes over, which was about the soap opera that she and Abe is interested in buying out, right? So he's like, he wasn't involved in a production with Johnny at one point, but it didn't go through. So he said that he's interested to go back into the entertainment business again, and they're excited about it, right? So we move on to the next scene, right? So we see Stephanie and Kayla right there at the hospital talking. So Kayla fills in Stephanie on the fact that Abigail's body is missing, and she, it could be possible that she's alive. So she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Like, you think that Clyde really took the body? And she's like, this is Clyde. Clyde is evil, so it's not really surprising or far-fetched. So she's like, it's pretty evil, but she's also thinking about, how Chad is feeling, how is he coping, and she also thought about Abigail a lot more than just today because of, Everett's battle with DID, and she's like, how are you doing? And she's like, she's just she wish she can be more help to him, and she's just really impatient. She wants to do more. So anyway, she gets a call from Marlene, and Marlene tells her about Everett being released and he's back home, and she's like, oh my god, this is exciting news. So she was on her way to do it, and Kayla is like, don't you want to give him a little time to reacclimate to the environment and all of that? And she's like, Mom, I'm already impatient, and I haven't seen Everett in a month, so I'm really interested. So she said, all right, go ahead to him. So we see Everett, or Bobby we should say, because Bobby's really pretending to be Everett at this point. He's not really back. So he's putting on his clothes, just thinking about the moment that Jada is free and Jada comes over. So he has a dream about Jada coming over to him and being interested in him and then picking up where they left off, right? So he has this delusion about it, right? So that is that on that. So we see Jada and Gabby outside the pub, right? So Jada is happy to see Gabby. She hasn't seen her since she got released. And, Gabby is thankful that she and Rafe have really been helpful in her getting released. And she said, don't really thank me, thank your brother, thank your husband. She's like, she's grateful, and she's grateful that the killer is, they found out who killed Lee. And Jada is like, no, I don't think we have. So she filled her in on what Rafe already told Gabby about, which was that Bobby has a hunch of who killed Lee, and he or she's still on the streets. And Gabby's also telling Jada that Rafe thinks that Bobby just wants to get closer to her. He really doesn't know. He's just stringing along. So she said she doesn't really know what to believe, and she just hopes that they'll have some closure. So anyway, she said she's on her way to find Rafe, and then Gabby's like, all right, I can tell you where he is. He said he's going to the gravesite, right? She also said she understood the whole DID thing and how frustrating it is because she dealt with Abigail when Abigail had an altar that was named after her, Gabby with a Y. So she understands. But then she also directs Jada to the gravesite where Rafe would be, right? So we see Paulina and Abraham. Paulina was on the phone with Rafe until, you know, a disconnection happened, right? She's wondering what happened because she said that the conversation was about her actually allowing the permit to, you know, fill up that gravesite where Abigail's coffin was so that nobody trips in there and causes a potential lawsuit. So anyway, she handled that, and she and Abe were there, and, you know, they started talking more about body and soul, and he having interest in actually reviving it and getting it back on air. So she's excited, she's proud of him, you know, she's interested you know, about more about it. So he started to fill her in on their potential to have it here in Salem, and have, you know, if they have to do recast, they have to do recast, and, you know, just the idea of it all, right? So she's interested in it. She said, you know, I hope we don't have to go to LA. And he's like, no, you know, it's perfectly all right to do it in Salem, right? So she's saying, yeah, because, you know, she has to be there for Chanel, and Chanel is coping psychologically, you know, but she's still on a journey to getting back to, you know, where she wanted to be, right? So she also wants to reopen back the business, you know, just get back on track since that whole ordeal with the miscarriage, right? So that was that on them, and then we move forward, right? So that was a crazy Connie, right? Because remember on last episode, and you can check out my latest episode recap on Friday, July 13th, right? So you can check that out. So anyways, we see her, she already plunged a knife into Rafe's back because it her deluded by, she just think that's the only way to get rid of him, you know, not ship him off somewhere, or just keep him somewhere, but plunge the knife in his back thinking that he's dead, right? So she's like, okay, all right, let me see. There's an empty grave site. Let me just put you there, put some dirt on you, and nobody will think about you. She, you know, deluded by thinking nobody will think about Rafe or, you know, his whereabouts. Because a lot of people love Rafe, so how she think that's not gonna happen, I don't know. But anyways, they're deluded by that's her plan, right? She's like, nobody's gonna hear about you, and, you know, they'll forget about you. But yeah, that was her thing, because she wanted to keep up her end so that, you know, Bobby doesn't tell Jada about her killing Lee. So let's go on to the next scene, right? So then we see Jada looking for Rafe, and that's when Connie bolted out of there, right? So Jada come over and she see the knife in Rafe's back, and she's frantic. She's like, who would do this, right? So she immediately calls the ambulance to come over, right, for assistance. So move on to the next scene, right? So we see Gabby outside the pub, right? And she's on the phone again with Ava. I'm like, didn't she just talk to Ava 2 times? And she said that she's about to get her team together, and she still wanted to know if Ava's interested in working with her. I just feel like Gabby has something up her sleeve. She already know that Ava and Stefan had the affair. She just want to, like, catch her, you know, at her weakest moment. I don't know. She seemed like she's up to something. This Gabby look like she's up to some plot with this whole working together thing. But let's see. So we see Connie comes up, and she's like, oh, hi, Gabby. And, you know, Gabby's like, oh, who are you again? And she's like, you know, Connie, I congratulate you at your release, on your release at the press conference the other day. And she's like, oh, I remember now. So anyway, she's like, I couldn't help overhearing you about you putting together a team for Gabby Chic. And she is a Gabby stan, and she had a lot of the products, you know, that Gabby used to sell. And Gabby's like, oh, okay. And she's like, do you have any experience in corporate retail? And she's like, you know, yeah, I have a resume. So she's like, okay, send me over, let me review it. And that was it. And she was like, you know, you don't have to worry about me. I won't stab you in the back. And that was a big pun because she just stabbed her brother, right? But let's see how this goes. It looks like she's going to try to stab Gabby too. I don't know. This lady is just really unhinged. She's getting on my nerves already. All right, so we see Stephanie come over to Everett's place, right? But, you know, it's Bobby. But anyways, Bobby opened the door thinking it's Jada already, getting himself ready. He's out the shower, and it's Stephanie, you know, to his disappointment. So Stephanie is like, she's happy that he's back, and, you know, she want to know how he's doing. And then Everett / Bobby tells her that, you know, it can't work out between the two of them romantically because, quote unquote, Marlena told him to work on himself and he's not healthy mentally. So he can't really be in a relationship. And, she was buying it and he started putting on the waterworks. He's putting on the Academy Award, Daytime Soap Emmys performance of the year, and she's buying it and she's like, she understands and she just wants him to be happy. So she left and he was like, oh, good riddance. So we move on to the next scene, right? So we see Rafe is in the hospital. Jada is there. Jada is frantic. Kayla is operating on Rafe. It's a big, deep wound. Jada is like, what's the situation? Like, are you going to save him? And, she's like, Jada, you need to go. Like, you have to step outside. Like, we'll do everything we can to take care of him. And she's like, I love you, Rafe. I don't think Rafe can hear it. But, like, this is when he needed, last time you guys are at the pub and he told you he loved you didn't respond to him. Now when he's in like the worst situation of worse, like you want to say you love him. But anyways, let's see if that's real or it's just because of the situation. Moving forward, so we see Kate come over to Pauline and Abe's place, right? And she she's excited and she fills in Abe and Paulina about her talking to the person at the studio about getting the rights for the soap opera, right? So she said that it's a green light. So Abe is happy that this is really happening, and Paulina was like, let me write you guys a big fat check. And he was like, no, because you are the mayor and you would have to, be responsible for the city permits. So it wouldn't look good if you gave us a donation and all that. She said, okay, cool. So that's why I didn't ask you, right? So they're on board and everything is looking good and she's excited. They're all excited about this being something. And she also said that, at some point when she and Abe were alone, she did say, it may be that, she can't really take up this mayor job too long because of the scandals that have been happening with the recall and then with EJ press conference and, Gabby outing him for not being Jude's father. So it's a whole mess. So she was like, you probably could use that in your soap opera. A lot of stories have happened here. You could probably use it as ideas or inspiration, right? So he's like, yeah, possibly. So anyways, we move on to the next scene, right? So we see Stephanie come over to Chad's place, right? She told him she heard about everything with Abigail and she just wanted to check in on him and see how he's doing. So he's like, he's doing okay, just, wants some answers. And then he asked about how is Everett, and she's, she started having she started thinking about their conversation she had with Everett earlier about them not being together. So, she's saying, she's just being there for him as a friend, and that's that, right? So anyways, we move on to the next scene, right? So we see Connie come over to Everett / Bobby's place, right? And Bobby's like, what are you doing here? I don't want nobody to see us. So she's like, relax. And he's like, so I held up my end of the bargain. Like, what did you do with your part? So she's like, I don't think you have to worry about the commissioner at all. It's taken care of. He's out of the way. And he's like, oh, really? So she didn't really go into details about how that happened, but that was where it's at with them, right? So we move on to the next scene, right? So Jada is outside the hospital room, frantic. She's calling the cops, the police to like work on it, search around the premises to see who could possibly stab Rafe, right? So anyway, she's just stressed out. Gabby comes in and Gabby's frantic, like, who did this? What happened to my brother? And then Jada fills her in that he got stabbed in the back. They don't know who did it. So she is like in frantic mode at this point, right? Like, who could do this to her brother? So we go back to the hospital room where Rafe is in, and Kayla and the nurse, they're looking over the charts, but then something started happening. His oxygen levels were fluctuating, and then she's like, we're losing him. We need to do something real fast. So that is where it is. There's the drama. So I don't know, but let's see what happens in tomorrow's episode. What will happen with Rafe? I don't think he's gonna die, but this is just crazy. I'm tired of that crazy Connie lady already. But let us see. And I'm just excited for the rest of the episodes. The trailer for this week seems really hot with the wedding of Century, Teresa and Alex, and Sarah and Xander. But let's see. I think it's Xander's mom. I am betting that it's Xander's mom. But anyways, guys, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. Comment below your thoughts. I will see you tomorrow for a all new recap. Bye.